Yes, hello and welcome to the fifth lecture of AutoCAD, Autodesk AutoCAD. Today's lecture is an overview because it's a holiday when I'm recording this, and we will go over the annotation again because it's the part that my students have the most difficulty in understanding and doing it right. So I will go through how to put the dimension lines and annotation. And we will again try to use the furniture, and we will try to use with some of those furniture to design a landscape for the drawing 2 that we already did in this lecture. So for my students, if you don't have it, you should go back to lecture 2, lesson 2. You can find the video here in my playlist, or if you already drawn it, find it in your email, and we will continue working on that. So if you draw this, we will try to put the furniture and dimension lines into this plan here, and then we will try to design a landscape for it. Next week we will be covering printouts, which is like the most interesting topic. I think I'll cover printouts in 2 weeks because it's a very important, I believe, and most AutoCAD tutorials skip over it. So this is where we left the drawing when you were beginner at lesson 2, and now I'll start to quickly go over and like create this annotation. So first I'll add this layer for the annotation. I always put it as yellow. What's up to you? You want? Okay. Now let me put it as my active layer. All right. The text. You remember the style. If you want to have your own style, you can. So I'm putting a. I'm selecting this. I'm going. So this is an overview. I'm going to express to enclose in an object. 0.4 looks okay. A circle and variable. All right, so this looks okay. And don't forget, like, this is now wrong because if I type C now, let's see, or if I type 1, it will go out of center eventually. So the way to do it is that when you do the D text, DT enter, you give it the height, you give it the direction. Sorry, before actually doing that, you can go to justification, and then you can make it the middle. And now I draw again A. Now it's centralized. Select this, enclose in an object. 0.4 seems to be too much to me, so let's go for 0.2. Enter a circle variable. Now looks good. I go to the all snap options. I make sure that the quadrants are on. The quadrants are here because I want to pick this circle from here. Let's first move it. M enter. Pick it up. Put it here. Select it. Copy. Here. 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 And then maybe it's a bit too big. I don't know, but like, anyway, you will figure it out. All right, so you copy it, and then, as I said before, before actually moving it, let's fix this text. C D 1 2 3. Let me copy this from quadrant to down again, from here to here. So I press D enter to go to the dimension line because now I want to draw the dimension line. So D enter. With standard selected, I click on new. Based on standard, let me give it my name. I mean 1, or you can say give it a name that you can remember. Continue. You can have different styles for different purposes. So I open it up. After you click OK, this will open up. I'll go one by one what you need to change. Any number that you see here, these are set by default for people who are drawing in I think meters or something like that. I'm not sure. So I found a good rule of thumb, which is any number between 10 and 20 will work here. when you're drawing in centimeter. Or let's say bigger, like give it a magnitude of 100. All right. So let's see, 12. You can find your own style, like what you like. I mean, so change this, fixed length beyond extension line, change it to something bigger than beyond. So fixed length extension line. So if this is 5, put this maybe 15. Then I go to symbols and arrows, make this architecture. Again, 0.18. I want to make it something like 12. Or you can just multiply it by 100 and type 18. 18 is a bit too big for my taste. Above dimension, line text, break size, dimension break. You can increase this also, like maybe to 5 or something. Increase all these numbers. So text height 0.18, maybe 18 is good. So now you see everything's fixed. You want to have it aligned with the dimension lines. Center, left to right. Now I don't touch anything else. I go to primary units and put this to 0.0. I put it to 0 because I'm drawing in centimeters. I don't have anything smaller than centimeters. Let me see. Offset from dimension lines. Is this distance between the text and the line? So I want to increase that a little bit. Let's say 1. Okay. Set current. Close. Make sure that you are in layer dim annotation. And then you start actually making it. Come to the annotation tab. Select the linear one. Start. First dimension line is always the entire building. So first I draw a line here. I move it up here because I want to have order in my dimension lines. Then I offset it a reasonable amount for 4 dimension lines. Maybe we can stretch this out. I can select this and stretch it out up a little bit, so it will not be so busy and noisy here. So let me move this up. Okay, now this is good. Let me mirror this for all, like copy it. I'm mirroring this for this side because these are just guidelines. We will get rid of this later on. So I'm selecting this MI for mirror. When you mirror 45 degrees, it gives you a kind of mirror in the other side, which is pretty useful. Stretch, pick the head of the line, stretch out. And then here, MI, because you want to have dimension lines in standard, like technical drawing, in all 4 sides. Pick the head of the line, stretch, like go out. Oh, I did a mistake. This is the downfall of using polar tracking sometimes. Stretch. Pick head of the line, S enter, and just push it up. Okay, now linear dimension. First dimension line, end to end. Because I have this raised platform, balcony, I do consider it part of the design. So I do put here, looks okay, 1500. We will get rid of that line and we will see the dimension clearly. Some people prefer to have the dimension lines above the line. You can go to dimension and find the setting for that. I prefer to have it in the middle. It's more readable for me. But anyway, you can have it above it as well. So again, linear. Second one, always axis to axis. So center of the column to center of the column. 350, you bring it up. You pick it up again, you click on it, and then you click on continue on the top. You go from center to center. Make sure that it's you're picking the right, because if you have hatch, you might actually snap to something and then it comes out wrong. So 350, and then here 400. We don't have any other axis here. So the next one will be break to break. If you have a break in the building, which we actually do here, so this is 1, 375, continue. This is, let's also consider it a break. This one and this one, and then the last one will be window to window. Since we don't have any window in this side, I just leave it as it is. Now let's go to the other side. Linear. I will go quickly. back to back. I'm not taking the roof into account here. Later you can add this extra eave that we have here for the roof. It depends, because we didn't design the roof yet actually, so that's why I'm not very keen on this. For the axis, you can actually go from here, axis to axis. I did make a okay. Continue. We can fix that. Dimension is not supposed to be this. It's supposed to be the other way around. All right. So 500, 500. Linear. Now break to break. This is one break. Select it. Continue. My computer is very slow while I'm recording this, so that's why I can't draw faster, because I have to wait for it to give me a response. Because of all the outbreaks, I'm having to do this online courses. I'm not well equipped for this kind of preparing this kind of lecture, because I'm usually using the university computers. So opening to opening, here and here. So this looks good. I go again here, end to end. Axis to axis. This is just work. I mean, you have to put in the time. There is no shortcut around it. You have to just sit down for a while and do your duty as an architect, putting in endless dimension lines. When I graduated from the School of Architecture 2006, I was doing this for an entire year or maybe year and a half in a firm. And this is the easy part. And when you go to the working drawing, that's really gets under your skin. I mean, it's really something difficult. You have to go and you have to be aware of all the details and everything, and you have to make all walls double line. It's crazy sometimes how you have to actually survive it. It's a very tedious job, and you study architecture in school, thinking that you'll create a grand design and people will appreciate it, and you end up in an office just clicking 200,000 times a day. Anyway, so now I'm teaching this. So, but if you have the mindset for it, you can make really good money drafting this kind of stuff. If you have the mindset for it and you can do this kind of stuff over and over again. So axis to axis. And usually there is no room for error. You have to be very careful because sometimes some stuff cannot be fixed later. And it's a lot of work. Sometimes you find your way in a situation that it's easier to draw something from the scratch and compared to actually. So for break, I'm taking the curve into account. So I click here and here, although we have the curve actually. So here, 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 and here, and then I go for the window. Linear, here, here. Continue. Doors and windows, let's say. Okay, I have a mistake here. Anyway, I'll fix it later. No window, no other window here. So that would be, let's give it a reference point. Okay. Now I go ahead and remove these lines. All right. These ones as well. And these ones as well. Now, I forgot to do the furniture inside first, so you can also like go back and start doing the furniture. I'll do the furniture now after I do all the dimensions, because these are not really competing with each other. I mean, it's better if you do the furniture first, because then when you put the inside the interior dimension lines, it will give you a much easier job of doing it. So I prepared this file. You can find it in the video description down below. It's a kind of an extension of the file that we had last time. We have plenty of furniture and plenty of landscape elements that you can use to create your landscape. So for now, I just pick all these. Ctrl-Shift-C, give it a reference point, come back to File, Ctrl-V, put it somewhere, and then we'll start to go and fix this one by one. So here we are still in layer annotation. Let me go back to layer furniture. We have our external dimension line. This is okay. Layer furniture, I just click here because this is we have it in the layer hatch. So this is a vertical duct. This will be the place that they will so this line, it needs to be in the annotation because it is an annotation. And then I'm doing hatch at a pick point here. You can make it completely dark, doesn't matter. And I want to make it actually something I want it to go into the layer hatch, and the type of it I want it to be straight usually. Okay, so this is okay. Now let's start with the bathrooms, which are often the most difficult ones. So now I want to talk about polylines. I will talk about polylines more and more. Polylines are very interesting stuff. You want to use more polylines. You see professional drafters, they don't use line, they use polylines. Polyline is the line, but they're attached to each other. So I'm pressing PL, and then I start drawing something. Oh my god, it's so slow. And when I pick it up, it's one line. And now if I offset it, it gets offset inside. And this is one line, and you can easily edit it, trim it. It's not like multi-line or something. So polyline is very useful. Try when you are drawing, try to type. You can always turn them into each other. You can explode the polyline and make it to a line. You can make a line into a polyline. But if you look at the professional drafters, you see they draw often more polyline than they draw line. So try to. Some people actually change the line and polyline on their keyboard. But for now, I can easily type PL enter. Always I'm typing if I'm drawing for myself, I'm always drawing polyline. So like for example, let's say I have here a polyline 60 centimeter for the shower. It goes here. I mean you can draw a rectangle here, but that's beside the point. And I mean I'm just trying to show you. Now fillet radius, let's say 30 centimeter radius. I have something here, and then offset 5. Let's have it inside. Let's have a rectangle here, REC, for the shower. It's a kind of a narrow shower. It's 60 again. I measured it. Okay, so C, enter. Probably the shower drain will be here because this is closer to this main vertical pipe, and this one will definitely be here. I mean, you can copy the same one. So, I mean, I did show you how to do this with perfection, but I don't have time because I don't want this video to be 1 hour long. So I'm just drawing something here, and then you go ahead and extend those circles out and just trim it perfectly. Okay, now I'm just trying to with this very slow computer, I'm just trying to survive this heavier and heavier AutoCAD files as we are going along with this course. Okay, now this is okay. Let me go ahead and bring the washing and the toilet and those kind of things. So let me copy this, bring it here. Let's see if we can have something here. Often you don't have the toilet here in this master bedrooms, but you can go ahead and do it actually. I mean, if you can fit it, it's possible to fit it. Then we have to change the type of the door. We can put a toilet here and something else here, and then we have to make a pocket door here. You can go and look it up, and you can make a pocket door here, and you can easily fit both of them here if we add a pocket door, a sliding door that goes into the wall. So it's a kind of a design thing. You can of course, if you know these kind of tools, you can easily use it, and you can make a much better design. Of course, pocket doors, they have their own problem with cleaning and sanitation and like insects and those kind of things, but it depends on the region. I mean, you can still have good sliding door. I mean, we are not doing a kind of working drawing here, but when you go to working drawing, I'm just placing this somewhere, but when you go into a kind of a 1/50 or something working drawing, you always have a line here. and you exactly have to say, you have to give a dimension line where this is, how far from the wall this line is. So when you go to working drawing, you have to provide with this, and then you have to create an inventory list. Which kind of toilet is this? Because these are fixtures, you have to be absolutely certain. You even can look at the catalogs and specifically say this is this particular type of stuff. I mean, I was thinking maybe even without pocket door we can actually fix this if we get rid of this. And this is a very long shower. We don't need actually that much long. We can have a very perfectly good and small shower here. This is big enough. Let me stretch this. Offset 5. You can have a perfectly good shower here, and then you can have something, maybe a smaller type. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you have to go and like find, because even these toilets, they have different sizes. So maybe for the bedroom, you don't put the most the biggest one. You put the smallest possible one. And maybe this is not the best place actually for putting. I mean, you go and find the arrangement to your liking, because let's see how big this is. 50, it's possible, but it will be very squeezed. I mean, it will not be a very kind of a pleasant. So maybe we increase it, maybe we push this a little bit. I mean, this is a design thing. Now I don't want to take your time. I was trying to be so like perfectionist and keep it together with this, but we have extra space here. So what I can do, I can actually try to push this back here. I mean, this will be far more, it will be too much, it will be more than enough for this space here, and then we can open up this space for this. So go ahead and do that. I mean, don't think that it's not, you have to play with the plan. One of the reasons that we do furniture is to find this kind of mistakes and fix it the best we can. So you can go ahead and like try to fix that. It's no problem. And then you will have you'll have a 60 by 70 shower, which is more than enough. And then you can have everything perfectly well there. So let's go here. Let me move this here. I did mention that the purpose of this is for the electric engineer to know where to put the outlets. So you put one here, and then this, let me go ahead and put something for the breakfast, let's say tray. Okay, now let's go ahead and put something for the kitchen. For the kitchen, this sink is too big. I already measured it, so I'm exploding this, and it has too many lines. I don't want that. So I'm just removing some of the lines. Let me make sure that this is recording. Okay, yeah. So I'm removing 2 of these lines. I'm offsetting this 60 down because my kitchen area, the counter is 60. Let me move this. So I'm taking the head of the lines, stretch S enter. I want this to come here, and then I remove this line. Now this is okay. You can block it with B enter and give it a name. Sync to 2.0. Let's move it from here to here. Let's rotate it. But I don't want this to go into the corner because it will be a very difficult place to. It will be a very difficult workstation. So I'm mirroring it, and I'm putting it here. Now this will work. And then the stove. Let's bring the stove. Again, this is one of those things that it really depends on, like maybe people's liking or their interior design or something like that. You can do the best you can for the interior design and create a kind of a good kitchen triangle there. So let me just go ahead and put this here. I'll do the hatch again because then now the hatch is going into the refrigerator. You can trim the hatch. It doesn't work always, but it works sometimes. So let me turn off my axis. Let's see if it works. Trim TR, enter. You see, it doesn't work now. But if I draw a rectangle around it, something like that, and then to trim from this rectangle, enter. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I mean, maybe it's better even if we do the hatch, if we do the hatch again. But anyway, before doing it, actually, let me move this apart, because this is already well developed. I don't want to spend time editing it again. So let me create a hatch here, whatever it is, and then MA enter, and then I get rid of this one. Now looks okay for the bedrooms and everything. So I'm not going to finish this. You know the bedrooms, you have the beds here, you copy them, you put them here. The annotation, again, I go to the annotation, and you put internal dimension when internal dimensions are necessary. For example, here we cannot read any of this from the interior, from the exterior dimension lines. So you definitely put some here. And if you want to be precise, as I said, you can always tell us how much this is, the distance between the center of the toilet is from the wall. And you can like go ahead and like some of these spaces, I want to see the necessary dimension for people who are going to work on the site, to be able to read it perfectly well, and like explain, and not have to resort to checking the file or going through the ruler and scale drawing, because it's always difficult to measure properly on the site, especially. So go ahead and put some internal dimensions, just to make sure that you know the internal dimension. Write down the square meter area of each space in the middle. That's that one we want to see. You can also name it. I said last time don't, but you can always name it. And always center mark the circles, because this is very important. You want to have a clear center for the circle when you have a circle. So this one we have, another one we have, okay, two we have. And now for the radius, I'm coming here, I'm picking the radius. I'm usually picking the external one, because then it's self-explanatory, the other ones. But you can go ahead, like, and then if you think it's necessary, you can like go ahead and put the other one as well. Same with this one. I mean, you have a center. Now you have to give this center, of course, when you're doing the internal dimension. It's very important. When you put a center, the entire purpose of this center is that we will be able to read it from somewhere. Maybe from the axis or from somewhere that we can easily find it, you know. We can know where exactly this center is in relation with everything else. So you can you can give it a benchmark. That's the idea, you know. So this center needs to be legible, let's say. All right. So this is the basic. You go through this, you put annotation, and then you put the furniture. This is repetition of previous lessons. Now let me talk about what else I want to do. Let me turn this off, the layer annotation. I want you to go ahead and use this file to put some trees and put some landscape there, and put some cars and stuff. Try to create a kind of a beautiful, let's say, landscape. I put the area. It doesn't even register typing properly. So this is it. Now I want to talk about some small issues. First is the Polyline, PL inter. As I said, Polyline is a very useful tool, like, because it's all connected, and it gives you can select it really easily, and it has some useful features. For example, let's say it has an independent width, meaning that when we'll get to the line thicknesses, it has an independent line thickness, meaning that you can like set this to 2 millimeter, and it will always be 2 millimeter. Like in relation to the drawing, and you can make it a kind of, let me show you how it works. So like this one, you select it, and then you have something called poly edit, PE. So PL and PE, poly edit, and then you can see this width. Let me take it to 1, for example. Maybe 1 is too small. Let's go to 10. And you see, let's go 20. Let's go 50. And then you can see, like, you can have a line like this, And this is very useful sometimes when you're thinking about your graphic communication. This comes in really handy to create something really dark and give a contrast to your drawing. So you can like go ahead and play with this. I mean, this is very useful. And then let's say you have another polyline. Let me match properties these two together, and now you'll see this one also will get like the other one. Now you can join polylines together. I select this one, I say PE, poly edit. You have the option join, then you select both, press enter, and now this is an entirely one polyline. Let's go PE again for poly edit. W for width. Let's go a little bit smaller, 15. Now you can check other stuff in poly edit as well. So like if you press fit, it will create a best fit with circles from that line. Sometimes very useful while doing some organic shapes or landscape or those kind of stuff. You can go poly edit and you can have the spline, and it will create the best spline from that particular. And then you have the ability to like place these vertices and play with those a little bit. And you can always select on it and go PE and select decurve. We'll bring it back to normal. You can close the beginning and end points. So the point being is that polylines are much more versatile than lines. So the classwork for today, which I'm going to show you the final file, is that you bring these trees, and I have some furniture, I have cars, and then I have some fireplaces and outdoor furniture. I have some north signs. Let me bring this here. I don't want you to use all of it, but some of it. Okay, so create this library here. Now you want to go ahead and like design the landscape for this house for me. And to do that, I have to remove the interiors, because I'll keep the axis. This green one is the roof actually. So you can go ahead and use polyline. You can create a pool here. You can create 2 car parkings here easily. You can check the drawings. You can put some trees back here to, if this is the north, this will be the east, and this will be the west. So if you put some trees here, it will protect these windows. It will provide some shading from this. That's actually, this is the east side. If you wonder why we don't have any window here, that's probably why. We already have a balcony. Why there is no window here? But like if you go ahead and put some trees here, then you might be able to open another window here. So it's up to you, and you can design it to your liking. Anyway, so let me open the file actually for you to see the finished product that I did develop. Okay, now so here I did do a very quick kind of sketchy thing. I did put a gable roof, the heap roof. So this is a heap gable roof. Be careful while hatching. Don't put all the hatches in one direction. You have to rotate the hatches, because this one is actually going to this direction, this one is going this direction, and then we'll get later in working drawing how you like, because I have to mark all of this. And I'm not actually very happy about this roof, so I'll just do it again so you see. Let me go ahead and turn off the layer axis, because we have basically a drainage system that's going around. We have a gutter going around, so let's say 10 centimeter for the gutter here. Let me draw a rectangle. Let me go to the layer roof actually. Alright, so layer roof, rectangle, from here to here, offset 10, and then these lines again, let me offset these 5, 5, 5, I don't know why they're in layer hatch, some of them, but anyway, we'll fix this. Okay. Not the middle one. Anyway, we will have those. So this is a kind of a, let's say this is the tiling system. Fillet or Philip radius 0. So go ahead and like fix these points. Okay. And for this one doesn't work, you have to trim this first. So you can go ahead and fix this and then start hatching it. Now it looks better because we have this actually in reality, we have something like that. So you do it one by one. You do this one, you select it, you go and you find the proper hatching for it, which looks to be, which for me it's this one, ARB88. This looks like a roof tiling system to me. So I increase it. Let's say it's 1. Let's say go for 10. It's too much. Let's go for 2. 2 looks perfectly fine. But even maybe for printout, this is a little bit too dense. You don't have to make it exactly as it is. Sometimes you have to work for the look, which is basically what we are trying to do here. Now I did mirror it in the wrong place. So again, side effects of using polar tracking. All professionals are telling me don't use polar tracking, and I keep insisting that it's a very useful tool. Alright, so I put this in the layer hatch. Now I make sure that they are in layer hatch. If it's in layer roof, it will be completely dark. And usually when I'm doing this, I go to the hatch for these two. When I have dense hatches, I go to this and I increase the transparency, and then in the printouts we can add transparency, and this will be very, very light. Also, we have the option of making them gray in the printouts, but sometimes even that's too much. Like when you have a very dense hatch, you can go and increase the transparency, but that's something else. Anyway, so you get the point. I have some trees around, I put some trees, I put a barbecue place here, I put a small pool. You can add more trees. The reason that I did the grass like this, because if I hatch it once, it will look very dull. But now let's have a look here, and now you see even it might look a little bit chaotic in the AutoCAD file, but these are so light that it doesn't even actually show here that much. So you want to have some contrast. This looks okay. I mean, this is what actually I'm looking for. So you'll have one with annotation, and you try to use, especially all these are polylines. So let me show you, then we can finish the lesson. So you see all these purple line that goes around. This is a polyline. So let's say I'm designing something with polyline. PL enter. So I start drawing. All right. This is pretty straightforward. But let's say I want to have a kind of a curvy line after this straight line. So I type arch, A enter, and then I can like have this. I can start drawing with the arches. Like imagine if you want to have a kind of a landscape, something like this, and then you want to have a line again, press L enter, and you can like basically continue with the line. And you can press A again, L again. So you can have whatever you want. And now if you want to offset this, you don't have to go through the hustle of doing it all the trims and extend and everything, because now if I offset it, everything gets offsetted. So this is one benefit of having polyline. Alright, so this is for today. I hope that you can manage to do it. I want to have something so when we go to printouts, we can use those to create good printouts. So go ahead, find the furniture file in the description below, download it, go find your second drawing. I'm expecting all of you to have a portfolio for the course. So find your second drawing, add annotation lines, add some text to it, try to make it look professional as much as possible. give it a frame. I didn't do it here, but always give it a frame, and then within that frame write your name, write which classwork it is, type down the scale that is going to be printed on. I put for you some north signs. Put the north sign always. Try to add as much technical detail as you can into the drawing. The purpose of this landscape is that you practice with polyline and you practice with hatching, because hatching is also something very tricky. Let me show you before I go. So sometimes here, let's see, if I want to hatch now, this tree is on the way, so I have to turn off the layer tree, and sometimes it doesn't work actually. So like you try to hatch this one, now it works, but sometimes it doesn't work, and you have to go around and create a polyline around that area. But you have to be absolutely sure that these lines, they don't have any small hole in them. So if you have a very tiny leak here, you will not be able to draw this hatch very good. So you want to be very clean, and you want to make sure that you are snapping to the right places, which is very important in doing hatches, proper hatching. Alright, thank you very much. I'm expecting to see your submissions very soon, and have a nice rest of your day.